Welcome to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast, where today's top influencers and entrepreneurs on the rise share empowering stories and ninja tips to become the fuel that ignites a positive change in your life. Our guests don't simply coast through life. They don't let difficult situations stop them. They set big goals, keep their eyes on the prize, and they're joining us today to share insider secrets you can use right now to step into your power and live your purpose. Now, here's your host, Christy Ruffino.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast. This is Christy Ruffino, and today I have the honor and pleasure of working with, or actually speaking with, Lora Georgieva. Welcome, Lora.
Hi, Christy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have so much fun. I love your passion. I love what you do. And we were at an event recently together, and I heard one of the stories of one of your customers that you helped, and it was so impactful. And then when I got to learn a little bit more about what you do and the huge difference you make in families' lives, not only financially, but making sure these kids achieve their college dreams, that I just had to invite you on the show. So I am really glad that we're able to coordinate this and make the time work.
Thank you so much. I'll be more than happy to share with your audience how they can actually help themselves and their kids, with the overwhelming college planning process.
Oh, yes. Okay. So let me just briefly read your bio. Lora Georgieva is the owner of Destination College, and she is a certified college planner who has been helping families with college education since 2009. Over the years, she has helped hundreds of students get into the colleges of their dreams while saving them, or I should say their parents, an average of $120,000 during their undergraduate studies between grants and scholarships. So Lora is the recipient of the 2017 Influential Women in Business Award. She's recognized by a local congressman and co-author of the book, Let's Talk Money. Her passion is to make college affordable and accessible for everybody. And she has helped many homeless students, refugees, and single moms achieve their wildest college dreams. That is really impactful, man. I'm telling you, gosh, I am so glad that we've had a chance to get you on the show because it's just amazing.
I appreciate you too, because you've changed so many lives as well.
Yeah. Well, so what got you on this path? I mean, and not only college planning in general, but you've kind of gone above and beyond with some of your clients who really needed your help. And they didn't have necessarily, they didn't think they could ever get into college, and you made it happen. So I don't know, let's dive into your story. What got you here?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about helping students with college planning. And you can probably guess from my accent that, I wasn't born in America. I actually grew up in a communist country, and I was determined to seek opportunities and make an impact and think outside of the box, because I didn't have that, in Bulgaria. I'm from Bulgaria originally. So fighting for change and equality became my mission. And my current vision is to change the education system in the US if I can, so all students have the equal chance and opportunities to graduate from college and have a successful career. I've been doing college planning for 12 years. I was a financial planner prior to that. And, I witnessed a lot of families getting broke and depleting their retirement accounts to send their kids to college. I saw how limited, students' opportunities are. And this became my passion and my mission to help kids be successful with their career opportunities. As a matter of fact, I am actually switching my kids' doctor. Their pediatrician is going to be one of my students who I helped to go through undergraduate and medical school. And it's just so satisfying, seeing my students be professionals in the field and actually using their services with my kids.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. How rewarding is that?
very rewarding. Yes. So I've helped hundreds of families, over the years, and the one that made actually the biggest impact on me and my business was a student from Sudan who came here as a refugee. So he was bouncing from country to country because his family was killed right in front of his eyes, and he went through different European countries. Then he ended up being in the United States, and I was fortunate enough, to help him with his admission essay. His dream was to go and study at Harvard, and he got admitted there. Currently, he's studying his graduate education, his law degree from Harvard. And this unfortunate event became his purpose to fight for freedom and justice for his country, witnessing his family being killed in front of him. And right now, he's working with diplomats, and he's working on legislation to create changes, for his country, and pass the freedom and pass his legacy that he wanted to experience when he was there.
Wow. So not only are this is like a multi-generation, you're changing the legacy of so many people, because he was in a position where he probably never thought he could go to college, and you helped him make it happen. And now look at what he's doing. He's helping so many other people.
You know what? I don't think not going to Harvard was a choice for him. I rarely see as driven and determined individuals as he was, and he still is. I still keep in contact with him. And, when you have a vision and a strong will like him, he was unstoppable. He's still unstoppable. And I feel really fortunate, to help him with that, but it was all him. It was his determination.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to keep in mind, but he also connected with you and you helped him. You are part of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Because you have so many other stories like that where you are able to do the impossible. You've helped homeless students, refugees, single moms. I think so many people get to a point in their life where they feel that things are hopeless, and without a college education, they may still be in that same scenario. And you were able to help them navigate that journey, so they were able to get on the other side with that degree.
Yes, and why I feel so passionate about doing what I do is because I've witnessed, this is my 12th year doing college planning, and in the past 20 years, the college education has increased by over 1,200%.
The cost. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, from 1968, it might be more than that, more than 20 years. But since 1968, the education has increased by over 1,200%, the cost for tuition, and the funding remained the same. So when parents are not planning ahead, they're not looking at a college tuition of $3,000, $4,000, which was, let's say, 30, 40 years ago. Right now, it's 40, 50, 70, $80,000 a year. And if they have multiple kids, this can easily add up and, be more than a mortgage payment.
Well, right. And you just said if they're not planning ahead, but that's not always the case. Many times it's not about the non-planning, it's the non-ability. Like a lot of families are just doing what they can to make ends meet, let alone put aside money for college. Yeah. And they may think that there's no hope for their kids, but there's things that you can do to help them.
Some of the families that are, in the same description that you mentioned, their kids are attending currently Johns Hopkins, and they are getting paid to go to college there. But, if they didn't know that, this was an option for their kids, and this would be actually better than going to a public university, they would have made the mistake of sending their kids where they think it's affordable for them, and actually take the loans that, they could have avoided by knowing all of their options.
So that's a good thing to point out, is it's not about you knowing how to navigate different scenarios, but it's the fact that options that nobody else knows, right? I mean, the case that you just mentioned with John Hopkins, I don't think the average family knows about that program, and there's probably other ones out there like that.
You're absolutely right. So most people would be terrified of the cost, because if you look at their total cost, it's close to $80,000 a year, and if somebody is making 30,000, who in the right mind would have their child apply there? But because of the structure of their funding and giving money through their endowment fund, they are actually covering up to 100% of the total cost. So for a low-income family, the most expensive universities might end up being the cheapest.
Wow. That alone is a reason for people to get on the phone with you, which we're going to talk about that at the end, because I know you've got an amazing free gift that you're going to share. But let's take a quick break. I am really happy that you shared a little bit about why you're so passionate, but I want to make sure we have enough time for you to share a lot of, we call them ninja tips. So just things that you can help our audience with right now that they can either pursue or navigate or research. So do you mind hanging on a minute, Lora? And we'll come right back.
Of course. Thank you.
Awesome. I know. You hear us asking you to subscribe, rate, and review, but what does that really mean? Is it really that important? Well, if other podcast hosts are anything like me, they've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their show. And personally, I get really discouraged when I have something great to share and no one is listening. Beyond algorithms, ratings and reviews are critical for a show's sustainability. It goes way beyond fanning the flames of our egos, or by getting a little that a girl pat on the back. Reviews create social proof and prove that our show has an engaged and loyal following. So if you like our show, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review. And while you're at it, pick up one of our Overcoming Mediocrity books on Amazon. You'll be glad that you did. Welcome back, everybody. This is Christy and Lora Georgieva, the college planning professional. And we spend a little time talking about why Lora is so passionate about this and some stories of people that she has helped. But now is the juicy part, because now she's going to share some of her wisdom with you, her brilliance that you can hopefully utilize with the children you have now looking to go to college, or maybe sometime in the near future. So what would be the first tip that you want to share with parents who are in this situation where they're overwhelmed with the whole concept of college planning?
Since a lot of parents and students are concerned about paying for college, I would probably share that the most powerful tip that I can give is that they can actually negotiate the cost for college. And
Wow.
We have done this over and over again with different kids. Sometimes, actually, one of the scenarios that I can share with you, we were able to save as much as $59,000 a year just by negotiating that. And a lot of parents are intimidated, when they receive the offer of financial aid and the bill that they have to pay. They're like, okay, we're just gonna write the check or take the loan, and there you go, we're paying for college. We're so happy that our child got admitted, to this college, and we got to post it on social media. But that shouldn't be their approach. The colleges are businesses, just like you don't go to a car dealership and write,
top dollar, right?
And write the sticker price of a car, like you negotiate. The same with college. So typically private universities are the ones that can give more discounts than public universities, but vice versa, that is not something that you cannot do with public universities as well. So how you do it, you actually apply to multiple schools, preferably more than 10, And I highly recommend choosing one of the schools as knowingly that, they would actually give a lot of money to the student in order to use it as a negotiation point with the rest. This is one of the ways to negotiate it. Second, if they have any special circumstances, if parents, went through losing their jobs, a lot of people lost their jobs during the unemployment. If, they went through, a medical event, if somebody had surgery, if they went through divorce, or, just one-time bonus that increased, their income. This is another way of them to bring to the attention of the financial aid officer that, they should give them more money based on their special circumstances. Mm-hmm. And then the third one is just thinking outside of the box. So I had a student who was admitted at a private university, and her parents were facing retirement in like 3 years. So they again received a bill for close to $60,000. They were extremely worried how they're going to pay for their daughter's education, because they need to retire as well, and they're not expecting their daughter to take care of them. So long story short, they hired me to negotiate the cost. After a month of debating, with the director of financial aid, they gave her $28,000 more in 4 years. And the parents were extremely happy about the results. I wasn't, because I actually found an article that particular university received a $6 billion donation from I'm not going to mention names, but somebody who is very famous and in the political arena. And I actually had the idea, the student, to write an email to that person, the political person, about his donation, and tell him that the school was not distributing their donation in the way that he intended, to provide the funding for. And the next day, he actually paid for my students' education for all 4 years. That was $240,000 over 4 years. And again, we could have stopped at 28,000, by negotiating that. But finding those opportunities, reading, what the university is committed to provide to the students, and really becoming their best advocate. This is my goal of working with families, making sure that the kids are achieving their full potential. They're happy at the institution where they go and study, and that their parents are able to afford their kids' education as well.
Yeah, and that they don't leave the school with a bunch of their own personal debt too, because that's a huge piece where some of these kids end up by taking this debt upon their shoulders, and then they're out of school, and then all of a sudden they've got $300,000 worth of debt they have to pay, which will take forever.
That's correct. Yeah, it's not uncommon when I see people with over $300,000 in student loans.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
I don't want to scare people, but you know what? Most of my students graduate with very minimum or little or no debt at all.
Right. Wow. Okay.
There is a way to do it right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the thing is, the average person doesn't know all of these resources and all of these tips, and the fact that $28,000 is a lot of money to get back, but if we can get more, why not? And so this is your specialty.
Sounds better.
Yeah, no kidding. No, and think about it, $240,000, they got 28,000. They would have still had to pay 200,000. I mean, they would have still had to pay a ton of money, even though they got $28,000 off.
That's correct. Yeah.
So holy cow. Okay. So you rattled off 3 tips. Do you have more, or can we go into a few of these a little bit deeper?
I do. I actually can mention some of the common mistakes and recommendations, what I provide, to avoid those. So
okay. Yep. Let's keep going.
Number
this
one,
is like a fire hose of information. I love it.
There you go. So number one should be, the students should really find their passion, what career choices, they want to make, because this is probably the number one stressful, component to the college planning process. And I take all of my students through a very comprehensive major assessment test. And once we determine their career choice, then we just go full speed with providing all the pieces to the puzzle, to boost their college applications. So how they can boost their college applications is by, engaging in different clubs, in different leadership activities, volunteering, parents and students, they think that, they need to be involved in like sports and music and, different things. And universities are not looking for that anymore. They are looking for students who can demonstrate their interest on steroids, whether that's going to be through the classes they're taking through their high school or clubs that they're involved in. I also help them with finding different summer opportunities and during the school year, like different things to boost their college application.
Okay.
That's my second tip, is to boost their college application before they actually start applying to colleges. Number 3 is they need to be very careful with which colleges they're applying to. So that college selection and applying to the right school will later lead towards, like getting enough funding, being happy with their choice. So, I would say that, they need to do some really thorough research on the colleges that they're submitting college applications for.
Okay.
Another thing that they need to work on is their admission essay. A lot of students write about anxiety and depression. I get it. We were all on lockdown and that was not pleasant for any of us. But this is not something that they should be writing about in their admission essay. So the admission essay has to be something positive, something unique about the student. I will give you an example with a story. So for example, I had a student who applied with social work, and his essay was about writing 2,000 sticky notes and putting them on each locker, to create positive awareness, in high school. And he got admitted to all of the schools. It doesn't have to be rocket science, essay, but something positive and something creative that, the student has done.
Yeah, a unique approach, right? That shows that college shows the college that this is an out of the box thinker and he's taken the initiative. I love that. That's great.
Yes, and another tip, that parents and students are fighting me really hard on that is taking the ACT or SAT exam. This is an exam that most universities are now announcing that, they're test optional, but test optional is really not test optional because they get disqualified for a lot of scholarships and they lower their admission chances if they don't provide that test score.
So it really isn't optional. It is, but it will tell a lot about you if you don't do it.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. It's kind of almost a way for them to survey people and to see, all right, are they going to take the initiative and take the SATs or the ACTs, or are they just going to try to do it the easy way? And that's
and a lot of kids in the Midwest are choosing the easy way out versus kids from Florida or like North Carolina, Tennessee. They never went on a lockdown that we did. So these kids are fighting hard for those scores. Versus, my experience with kids from Illinois is that, most of them are, don't bother me with this. I don't need the extra stress of taking the test. But, that would pay off later if they do have a good score.
Wow. Okay. Holy cow. This has been a lot of great information. Now, I want to ask you, and I'll loop back around to this assessment. You said that you have a really great assessment for younger students or students that they're not quite sure what their major is. Is that something that is a free assessment, or is that something that they would pay for? How does somebody go about going through that process with you?
It's a service that I provide. It is an online test, but then I schedule a 1-hour consultation with them and we talk about, I ask them questions, I interview them, we talk about their future, how they see themselves. I use other tools in addition to that online assessment to evaluate what career is the best fit for them.
Got it. Okay. And so let me ask you, I'm sure that there are people listening to this show from different countries and different states in the United States as well. Do you only work with people in the US?
I work with people even out of the United States. So international students or domestic students. As a matter of fact, my latest client is from Dubai.
Oh, wow. And you're helping them navigate the schools in Dubai?
No, they're coming here.
Oh, they're coming here. Got it. Okay. So that's a clarification I wanted to just make. So it's helping people from anywhere be able to navigate the college process here in the United States.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And then my next question is, I know you have an amazing gift that you're going to share, which I'm very grateful that you're giving this to our audience, because I know this is going to take a lot of your time to be able to fulfill all of these needs from our audience. But if somebody wanted to schedule time with you, do you speak with the parents or the kids, or would you like to have the call with the parents and kids together? What is your ideal scenario for a consultation?
It's the parents and the kids together, because
Okay.
if one of them is not engaged, then it's completely useless, to work with me.
Yeah.
And I've had, the situation where, let's say that the student, did not want to participate, and that's fine. I cannot work with students, who are not willing to put in the efforts, because
No,
at the end of the day, it's their choice, to
it's their
go to
life.
college. It's their life, and not
Yeah.
everybody needs to go to college. I need to make this very clear. I'm not convincing everybody to go to college. A lot of students choose, to just, specialize in a trade. Trade school is amazing too, because a lot of, there's a huge demand right now
Yes.
for that. So I've had students who were looking to go to a 4-year universities, and I talked them out of it, because I thought that, going to community college or trade school is a better fit for them.
Yeah.
So it's really finding out, what is the best scenario for the student and the parents.
Mm, wow. Okay. All right. So we're getting to the end of the show, and I want to thank you for sharing so much information in such a short time. And I want to thank you for allowing our audience to be able to connect with you, because you're giving away a free 1-hour consultation, which is amazing. Now, people may have to wait, because I know you only have so many hours during the week that you can give free time to. But can you explain a little bit about what that consultation what would happen during that consultation, and how they can schedule this with you?
Absolutely. So typically I start with sending them a questionnaire, and in that questionnaire I will find out more information about their child, potentially what major they want to study, if they have any colleges in mind, what classes they're taking, what the experiences they've had so far, and also financial information about the parents, so I can tell them, which colleges are going to be, the best fit for them. So it's a combination between the academics of the student and the parents' financial assets and income to, pretty much link all of the pieces to the puzzle.
Okay.
During the consultation, we'll talk about, potentially their major. I will ask brief questions about, like what the student's career plan and choices might be. We are going to talk about their tests, if they're planning to take the test and what test is a better fit for them. We're going to talk about potentially what they're going to write in their admission essay. We're going to talk about scholarships, loans, which colleges are going to be better for them. And it's going to be pretty much a 1 hour of basic navigation, and they will receive enough information to substantially help their child. Obviously, it's not going to be working with them, let's say, for a year or two, like guiding them every step of the way, but it will be enough for them to create, the necessary steps and avoid major mistakes.
Mm. All right. And so how does somebody get a hold of you to be able to get the ball rolling?
They can reach me through my phone number. It's 224-619-2173.
Okay, we'll have that information in the show notes that are with this episode.
Or they can reach me through my email. It's Lora, Lora, at destinationcollege.info, info.
Perfect. We'll have both of those, the link for your email and your phone number in the show notes. And again, everybody, be patient if Lora doesn't get back to you right away, because this is a very generous offer. And I know her first priority are her clients, but then I know she'll get back in touch with each and every one of you to schedule a consultation. I think that's just amazing.
Thank you, Christy.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. And is there any last words that you want to share, Lora, before we sign off for today?
Maybe I can share my favorite quote with you.
Yes.
It's life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And actually, this is right next to my desk. And I really believe that, the moment you actually exit your comfort zone is when you start living and when you reach your full potential.
That is so, so true. So true. But all right. Well, Lora, thanks again. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I want you to really think about everything you learned today. And if there was anything that really stood out to you, please share it with somebody you know. Not only will it help them out, but you retain more. We all retain more when we teach somebody else. And I know there was a lot of information that Lora shared about college planning. And of course, if you like our podcast, please go to whatever platform you listen to us and like us, share us, give us a review, rate us, do whatever you can to spread the word about what we're doing. Because my mission in the world is to help people share their stories and share their wisdom. And I would love to keep getting amazing guests on our show, just like Lora, so we can serve all of you with just helping you all get out of your comfort zone and do amazing things in the world. So thank you, Lora. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams once they've learned the art of mastering their story. Mastering our stories is the key to everything we want in life. Our stories can either hold us back or they can propel us to new heights. We can choose. You can choose. Choose to overcome mediocrity with us. Let's achieve greatness together. To learn more, visit www.overcomingmediocrity.org. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast.